packs that are all made to fit together, and there's an order to that, or do they just turn rocks around until they find ones that fit perfect? I mean, that's just ridiculous to build walls that way. It would take forever. Yet they managed to do it. And here's the turning tunnel. I'm pretty sure there's underground tunnels that lead from Rocky Butte to other places, like Mount Scott, Mount Tabor, things like that. I mean, was all of this built just so that the inmates at the bottom of the hill on the other side, where the jail was, that they completely destroyed, and they put big piles of sand and gravel there where it was now? They store sand and gravel there, like big piles. But if you look at this, there's the rock wall, there's the hillside itself. I mean, that's fitted stone along the hill, and the railings and the hillside, the embankment. That's an awful lot of work to go to just so that the inmates can have a beautiful lookout area for their day, for when they get rec, they get their outdoor rec. Which I believe there was admitted to tunnel that went from Rocky Butte Jail up to the day yard up on top here. More fitted rock. This whole hill is fitted rock. I wouldn't doubt that this whole hill is a structure. Missed that one. Stones off the side there. I'm gonna go off over the bank here in a minute and see what's just in the grass or in the bushes, in the trees, in the dirt on the side of the bank over there. There are all kinds of castle rocks around here. And Rocky Butte itself, I mean, come on, they built this gigantic over the top super nice double staircase that goes up to the day area for them to, for the inmates to just have a really nice area up on top with an awesome view. I don't think they'd go through all that just for the inmates to have a day area. They wouldn't do that ever. Supposedly in the past the jails were even harsher, but that's not true. They're worse today than they were back then. They treated you like a human being in the past. Now you're just a number that needs to be injected, and whatever. Yeah, they built all this just so people could just so people could just so people could come up here when they were in jail, and they could get. I don't buy it. That's a good place to park, though. Is there any? You know what? I've already been to Rocky Butte, so I'm not going up there. The place I'm looking at is going to be down over here. See you, thieves. I'll be back. Bye bye. It looks terraced. A lot of apples. Some homeless camps down there. Probably some little ones through the trees too. I'm on Rocky Butte. What do they take to build walls like this, retaining walls? And do they have like a big crew of just big burly guys with equipment? I mean, because even if you had equipment, you have to be pretty strong to even mess with these rocks. I mean, look at that. They arched the rock for the drain, which is, of course, yeah, they need it to drain, but look at that. It's a very nice, a lot of work on there to make that rock like that. Isn't it? And this cutaway right here too, that doesn't just happen. And these rocks don't seem to have a pattern to them. And maybe it's escapes the notice of the general public if they happen to see a wall like this, but if you really stop and think about what it would take to fit all these random rocks and have them all come out perfect and stay that way on a regular basis, I mean, that's just kind of nuts. It's kind of nuts, man. And it goes like this all the way down and around, and it's like this on both sides, and that rock wall runs the whole way. That's pretty steep. I wonder if I can climb that. Yeah, I don't think so. Not today. I have a toothache. And it's all chemtrailed out, of course, but I mean, it could be worse. It usually is. But here's some rubble of rocks, right? Rock rubble. Barney rubble. This big old wedge rock right here. That's a wedge if I ever seen one. Which I guess I have. Wedged. Oh yeah, and it's one of the pieces. What do they just drill down, blast it off, and then we don't need this one. We'll toss it across the street. Right. That is totally terraced. And it slowly goes up there. I mean, that was like another road that used to run up there. I may have to climb that damn hill. That is steep. It's I don't know what the angle is, but if I take my glasses off so it's not warping my perspective, I might be able to guesstimate it. Let's see, that's yeah, there's level. Bink. 90 would be straight up. 45, it's more than a 45 degree. Need some really sticky shoes to walk up that thing. So is it like that under? It's like that all the way. Yeah, like under the ivy. All that ivy's covering it, but it's not like it's only right here and right there. This whole thing is like that. Whole dang thing. I wonder if that can even be climbed on. Whoa, I'd be afraid I'd fall. Tumble to the bottom. Holy crap. It's pretty steep. And a nice angle running down there, right? I might be able to get up here. Don't you know? If I could make it to the edge of that tree. It's a little slippery. Oh, the things I do. the things I do for entertainment. I didn't even end the video yet. Okay. I am in the woods. And it's quite the ivy mess up there. Where else you gonna get this kind of adventuresome? Ooh, just walked into that guy. Shit, I'd need a shovel. I mean, this is such an angle. I gotta put my glasses up because it's throwing my perspective off. Even though my eyes are a little blurry without them, I'd rather not have my perception being skewed. And I'm trying to balance and not fall down there to my possible death. Man, walk up here a little ways if I can. Holding on to this tree, right? I better get me a bug stick. Ugh. Bug in my mouth. Come on, give me this damn stick. Okay. Got my bug stick. For spider webs. Damn. Keep saying I grew up in the woods. I mean, this is what I just used to do when I was a kid. I would go out in the woods when I was bored and didn't have nothing to do and explore over hills and mountains, hills and valleys, over hill and dale. Well, probably up here in the freaking poison ivy or some shit. Huh. Well, it's so overgrown, I don't think I could tell if it was terraced right here or not. Honestly. Come on now. Okay. We're not zoomed in. It's been 8.5 minutes. 8.5 minutes and I'm 60 feet above the road. Dang. Welcome to this fast. Okay, now I can put my glasses back on. Find the mofos. Maybe I should explore the other side of the hill. It's not quite so steep. But yeah, okay, so what? They brought the work crew out here and they said, you guys just keep scrambling up that hillside with these 250, 350 pound rocks. Just one at a time, guys. Oh yeah. Hey, what is it, like the pyramids? You just throw slaves at it until you got the numbers that'll say you could build it, or you would build it, or anybody would do that. Ridiculous. Totally. It's still there. When I get to here, I don't know. I need to dig down into the hillside, but I mean, something tells me it may be. And up there is the road surface where the top is. Quite a ways up there. Or up the mountain itself. There's several prominent little points around Portland as well. Like Rocky Butte is like its own little outcropping, right? Whoa, don't walk into a spider. But then there's Mount Tabor and Mount Scott, and there's a couple others I don't even remember the names of. But you know, it looks like a flat, you know, looks like a flat city area, and then all these little mountains popping up, and I could picture a castle or a compound of castles on top of each one. You know, they could. Let's see, that's where I came up at over there. Get the spider stick going. One thing about this area is there's not too many really deadly, dangerous creatures. As far as bugs and things. So that's good. I mean, that's yucky weed and all that, but you know, probably not gonna kill you. Hey, this is a trail. Okay. I could scramble down there, but let's follow this trail for a second. I don't really want to leave my van unattended for too long right there. You know, if it's out of sight, or if I'm out of sight, I'm gonna smash the window and grab some shit, right? Because times is hard. Times is hard. Hopefully I don't walk up in somebody's camp. Be like, well, what we got here? A Washingtonian. Yeah, there's the road surface up there. So this is near the top. Where's that? It doesn't look quite familiar. Let me see what that is. I'm gonna go see. It's an adventure. You only live twice. Or 3 times. Maybe 4. I think I'm almost done, right? I have been endeavoring to neutralize my karma, you know, or my bad karma, or what it may be. Is that the road? Yeah, I can't step on that. It's not solid. Can you tell what that is? Looks like it's a water storage. Yeah, it's too jungly right now. I'm wearing shorts, so if I had pants on, I would just power through there, but I don't. I'm wearing freaking jogging shorts and shit. So, wearing my Daisy Dukes. Can't do it. Dang, I got something up there. This is a trail also goes this way, too. Up to that big tree. It'd be cool to have a tree house on there. Okay, I'm gonna start heading back down here. I'm gonna go check on the mystery machine. Make sure it's all good. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I don't know if that's the top up there. I think that might be something in between that you can't really see from the top. Because that didn't quite look like a rock yet. Some sort of water basin or something. Well, this is a little easier. Okay. My knee is starting to hurt too. Because I'm old. Old and dirt. Okay, so yeah. Man, get out there. I mean, this rock right here. What, this one? That rock is 1, 2.5. Pushing 3 feet from there to there. And probably 2 feet up there, and who knows how far back it goes. That's a 400-pound rock any day. So what? You're telling me they got machinery out here and they use, machines to transport, lift, and place, amongst all of these rocks, one at a time, for what? For like, few years just to make a nice day area for the inmates who are way down there at the bottom, which is really where I want to go, but there's not a real good way to get there, and I don't want to go walking through the camp down there necessarily. Not that I'm afraid or anything. It's just, respect issues. Privacy and stuff. They don't come walking through my house. If I had a house, I mean. Wait, they did. There's a big homeless camp at Tad's. I wasn't hanging out there then though, because it was too wild. Anyway, yeah, look at all these rocks. They've got the drill marks or blast marks on them. Right? There's blasted rocks. That's good. All this is support. It shores up the top for the castle that would have been on top, which is probably where all these other rocks came from that are just laying all over the place. Right? That thing though, that takes some work, and it's just a drain. That's like serious rock sculpting. You know, was this a repair job here too? Because we go from having mortar to not having mortar. Right here. Right. I'm sure there's got to be videos of this already on YouTube. Seems like there would be, but maybe not. So, okay. Hey, you inmates, you get over there and you use those pneumatic hydraulic machine and you pick up that rock and tote it over there and put it in place, and then you mortar it up. And what? Come on. I don't buy it. How do you make even things like this? I mean, obviously it's made. I can see how you make it. You have to have a plethora of rocks that are large, heavy, hard as steel pretty much, and fit together perfect. I mean, come on. What, did they find a solid piece of rock and then just hit it and break it into pieces and it just cracks this way? And then they, okay, put it back together in the same order, right? Does that seem logical to anyone? Because I don't know how that happens. I mean, maybe it's just a simple process and I've just never seen it before. I haven't seen everything there is, you know? I've done a lot of construction work, and I'm generally very hands-on physics type of oriented in my mind, you know? I'm a mechanic. I learned mechanics simply by grasping physics. You know, when I was a kid, I found it interesting, you know, cars and motorcycles and such. So, but I never took any classes. I just watched people that I knew, watched my dad, watched others, and there's a wall here. It's not just I thought this was just a little rail thing here. It's actually a big wall. So it's totally terraced, and I'm gonna bet you there's another one. Like, where am I seeing here? Down in there, like right there. So you know, it's just by understanding physics. You know, I mean, you look at a nut and a bolt, and you can plainly see how the inclined plane works, and they thread together. You can see, Tetris everything. It's just, that's how I learned mechanics. I just took things apart until and just figured out what they were inside by how they looked, and then one day I finally learned how to put them back together, and they work again. And so then I, you know, went from there. Point being, physics is pretty much second nature. I mean, it is to most people, but maybe not anymore, not in this day and age. People are completely losing touch with what it actually takes to do things. You know, they don't actually do anything anymore. You know, they build things on Roblox, right? Go play Roblox and you can build stuff. You can build a castle, build flying things. Perfect wall. Castle walls. Totally castle walls. And these rocks on top here, I mean, what, did these come out of a machine that makes them just like that? Just ba-bam, ba-bam. Because each one is rough hewn and different, but basically the same, and fits just like it should at each interval. What do we got here? Get this frick off of me, bug. Is that drone bee? City of Portland. CCB bench. Mark number. Fine for distributing. Don't distribute this rock. Interesting. This one must have fell down here and fell down. Took out a chunk of wall or what? Okay. So yeah, okay. So we continue on. Same rock, different but same. Different but the same. Different but the same. Different but the same. Different but the same. Yo, you inmates, get out there. Get some cables and some pulleys and some hydraulic jacks and put those rocks on those carts that we just brought up here in the horse and carts, right? Yeah, so we got wood wagons and such, and we're gonna quarry all these rocks from wherever they came from. These things are all over this area. I mean, they're everywhere. I don't know where the quarry is exactly. Yeah, I got an idea though. I think the quarry was on Swan Island. Swan Island is right by downtown Portland, and if it was natural, it would be a beautiful little spot, right? It's in the Willamette. It's a rather large island, and it's been a cement, sand, and gravel quarry for as long as I know, as long as I can remember. And it, forever. They've been making cement there and pulling sand and gravel out for a long time. Right. That one wiggles. Storm drains. It looks like the place where a giant castle would have been, with an excellent view of everything, of downtown, of down the river and up the river. And it's just a beautiful location. And what is it? It's got giant piles of sand and gravel, big flat areas where things have been ground down to presumably nothing, and now it's dirt, and they leveled it back out. And you can go on Google and see it. Swan Island in Portland, Oregon. But I get the feeling that a lot of the things that they made around here could have come from there. So you just start disassembling, and absolutely over the top. I'm talking like King Arthur Castle, right? And disassembling it rock by rock. And how did they fit the rocks together? Even that still doesn't answer the question. But these rocks fit perfect. They fit perfect, and they're not a pattern. They appear to be random. How do you get all of these perfect rocks randomly? You just come out here with a big flatbed, 20 flatbeds full of rocks, and they all have an even surface too. So after the rocks are there, what do you come along and you grind them? They don't look like they've been ground on. They look like they were chipped, kinda. How do you chip giant rocks like that and have your surface come out so nicely that it can just make walls like that? And goes on and on and on and on and on and both sides of the road. Actually, you know what? That's a little bit messy, but it's not terrible bad for a camp. It's a nice area too. But I would imagine, as secluded as it is, that there's some strange personality type of things going on in these homeless camps. Because this is a cold town. I mean, there's witchcraft and stuff aplenty around these parts. Yeah. So I guess I'll head down a little farther. Maybe if I see something else that stands out, I'll take a quick look at this again. It looks like it's come loose a little bit there, and kind of get an idea of how deep the rocks are, right? What are they at? They're 1.5 to 2 feet deep. back of rocks. And they just had so many of them that the guys just stand out here and look at them and turn them over and take measurements and come over, and then they fit perfect. It's like, oh, we got one, bring it on over here. And what about these ones? These were clearly processed somehow. You don't just chip rocks away and get that nice curve right there, or not curve, but that nice triangular pattern. Look at this. It's a nice straight line right there. It's almost like this was an entrance or something, and now it's a drain. Honestly, because it's, look, the line wavers all over, but when it gets to here, where this straight line is, it's a nice straight line. Over to here. Where's it end? I can't tell where it ends. Because you have the distinct line on that side. Comes across. Where's the distinct line here? Kind of like, an angle there? And why is it all, I guess that's from people climbing up it. Maybe they got to camp up there. Well, this rock, right? What? Just chipping and, hey, we need one that's almost round. Can you chip me a round rock right next to a little trapezoidal rock? And then this rock next to it, right? Look at this shit. Give me a break. Give me a break. Look at these rocks. I mean, it's a pretty good sized rock. It's heavy. I couldn't lift it. And they go right up the hillside. And they fit just nice. Tilt down. Look at that. Look at that one. It's like the shape of someone's head. You think right there, hey, we need a rock that's, curved on, both sides in the same direction. And while you're at it, chisel me a couple for an arch for this water drain. Chiseling rocks out for a water drain arch. And give me a nice triangle for this inset part here. Why is that inset even? You know what? There's the line. Bam. Doorway. Right? What else would this be? I mean, obviously, it's a water drain. Picture it without the pipe being there, because the pipe's way newer than the rocks. And, this part here seems good. Yeah. You come up here and you go into the structure. This is a structure. It is definitely a structure. I don't think I'd go in it if I could. Open sesame. Didn't work. Yeah, that's an entryway, right? Come on. This whole thing is a castle. I mean, maybe it didn't have a castle on top because the thing itself is the castle. I mean, and it's got trees growing all over it, big trees. So it clearly would be a very old castle. Some of these trees are at least 100 years old. Probably not much more than that, though. And the whole thing was kind of, if you stripped all the trees and vegetation off of this hill, and you were to go like a half a mile away and look at it, you'd see a giant, Tower of Babel castle. I'm sorry, you would. I mean, I'm not sorry, but that's what it would be. Of perfect fitted irregular rocks. How many decades would it take to have crews of guys just turning rocks over that were brought from somewhere until they all fit like this? It's inconceivable. I mean, really. Anyway, I'm rambling. Okay, bye. There's been so little traffic, maybe I can just creep along here. This is what it looks like when we're getting down near the monastery. And this is the caretaker of the monastery's place back here, but you can't see the old buildings. They got the new ones are in the way. There are old buildings that were for the caretaker. And we know that's not a fence because on the other side of it is a wall, a castle wall. And then when we get down here, what do we got? Just random rocks, alright. Both sides now, both sides. Ba-dang, ba-dang. But this is where I should go over the edge at, is right down over there, son of a... I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a U-turn.